welcome back, everybody, to the library's podcast, Doc Talks News and Views. I'm Deborah.
And I'm Katrina.
And we're here today with the director of the Northborough Free Library.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! We all love our new director.
Yes, we do.
Yes, Jen Bruneau has been with us for just under 1 year. So when you see Jen in town, say congratulations for your 1 year anniversary at the Northborough Free Library.
Oh, yeah.
So we thought that it might be a good way to introduce Jen to everybody in the community through our podcast. It being COVID and everything, we couldn't have an open house and a nice welcoming party, so we're going to try it this way. So we're going to, you can see my ear quotes, interview Jen today. And so we're hoping that we'll learn a little bit about her, and all of you in the community will learn a little bit about Jen. And we're also hoping, since we're open now, that you'll come back in and see us and visit us and check out all the fun things that we have going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me. It's super fun. And it's been a really interesting year trying to get to know people through COVID. So if people see me around town, maybe they'll recognize me without the mask on, maybe not. But I figured it's really boring if you just listen to me talk for, however long, 30 minutes, 20 minutes.
And I might not be able to come up with good questions.
And it would be boring. So being me, I like to be competitive. So I have actually made up a game.
Woohoo, I
for
love
both
games.
of you.
For us.
And there's a little prize at the end.
What? A prize,
Because it
Katrina.
has to be
Bragging
competitive. You
rights.
have to want to win.
Right.
So are you both familiar with the game Two Truths and a Lie?
Yes.
I am not that familiar, and maybe me and some of our listeners might benefit from the rules. So
Yes, and I think I've added maybe a little bit of my own rules. So I will explain how everything is going to go. I have 5 categories here. There's a question paper for each of you. 2 of the statements are true. 1 statement is not. So whoever goes first, you will have to try to figure out which of the 3 statements is not the truth.
Okay.
So if you get it
Okay.
right, you get a point.
All right.
If you get it wrong, the other person has a chance to steal the point.
ooh.
And
All right,
at
I
the
like
end- Yeah, and at the end, there's one winner.
There's
Of
one
course.
winner.
There can only be one.
There can only be one. And I won't tell you what the prize is right now, but you definitely want it.
Okay. I'm down.
Yeah.
You're on, Deb.
right.
You want me to go first? Okay.
I was going to say, do you want to flip a
Flip a
Something?
coin or a mask.
It doesn't
flip
matter.
a mask?
It doesn't
You could do
matter.
rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, I do like rock, paper,
I do
scissors.
too.
Ready? Rock, paper,
Paper,
scissors,
scissors,
shoot.
go.
Oh,
They
great
both
minds.
picked scissors.
All right, one more time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Go.
Ha
You go first.
All right, so Katrina won that, so she is going to go first.
Okay.
The first category is not so useless talents.
Okay.
So this category relates to things that I can do that are outside of library life that you would think would not be relatable, but have at some point or other in my career come back to play a role.
Be useful. Okay. Lay it on me.
All right. So my skills at playing the piano, sewing, or playing soccer. The first round is a little easier.
Okay, I'm going to say that you cannot play the piano. I think that's the lie.
I cannot play the piano. That is very true. I can sew. And the story behind that is we had set up in a former job, we had set up a program where we were going to do a recycled prom dressmaking program.
Ooh, that's exciting.
And on the day of the program, the person who was going to come in and run it actually got sick and couldn't make it. But we had 35 teens signed up and ready to make prom dresses, Project Runway style. They had about 2 hours and all these materials, and they had to come up with an outfit. So my sewing skills definitely came in handy there, and I was able to run the program rather than cancel it.
Wow.
And then, of course, both of you know, but if our listeners don't know, I have been a lifelong soccer player, and I try to run programs related to soccer as often as I possibly can, whether I'm forcing that on the staff or not. So every 4 years when the World Cup comes up, I try to just, hey, why don't we do a soccer program? You will see that. That will come up next year.
Well, there's also something else maybe you might want to share with our listeners about soccer. You play soccer, but you also...
Yes. So I have played soccer since I was about 4 years old, right up until I tore my ACL, and now not so much, but I have been a high school soccer coach for about 10 years. I coach high school girls varsity soccer at a local high school near where I live in Connecticut. So that's been sort of my other passion outside of libraries. So Katrina gets the first point.
Woohoo!
So I have, in the same category, not so useless talents. All right. So my skills as a wedding planner, a tap dancer, or a business plan writer.
I'm going to have to go with the tap dance not being true, because I think we just talked about how much soccer you had. So maybe that's where you put all your passion as opposed to the dance floor, and I'm going to be wrong.
I cannot tap dance. I have had a side gig or a side hustle as a business plan writer for about 5 years in North Carolina. Gave that up to do other side gigs. But we ran a lot of programs related to starting small businesses, and we used to help people review their business plans and kind of edit them where we could, and help people get local funding to start their business. And I have been a wedding planner. We ran a lot of DIY wedding programs back in the day, but I've been in something like 22 or 23 weddings as a bridesmaid, a best man. I officiated one.
You officiated one.
I was online ordained, and that was really fun.
Wow.
So yes, so that was round one. So we are tied 1-1, and I'm keeping track on a piece of paper because I cannot count to 5.
Well, you're a librarian, not a mathematician.
Exactly.
Well, you know, the two planning things that you talked about, I think just our experience working with you over the past year, I think you're a very good planner. So that
Agreed.
was kind of easy.
Yeah. She started with the easy ones,
did,
I
yes.
think. Yeah.
I wanted to ease you into it. They get, they get harder. I don't know. Maybe they're all really easy.
Right. So I think everybody who's listening, you can start to see some of the plans that Jen has been working with the rest of us on. They'll start being implemented over the coming year. So exciting things are happening. Stay tuned.
All right. Are you ready for round 2?
Sure.
All right. So
Let's do it.
Deborah, I think you go first because Katrina went first in the last round. So if that's fair, we'll swap.
No, that's a good one.
Go for it.
Okay. The next category is extraordinary things that I found in the library.
That's great.
Every librarian knows it's not uncommon to find strange things through the course of our careers. So, have I found 7 Shakespeare engravings stashed in an attic, a 150-year-old dictionary still in circulation, or a fully taxidermied deer?
That's a tough one. I'm going to go with the dictionary and the still in circulation.
I did find a 150-year-old dictionary still in circulation. It had a barcode on it and everything. It was part of the library's original collection, and somehow had missed weeding every single time they weeded. It was still in circulation.
So was that one of those things like our local history collection? Like it really should have been moved over because it was like the beginning collection of the library. Our library does not have one of those, but I've heard of that.
Yep.
But I can't believe somebody didn't like check it out.
And it
just
was
for
not
its value, you know,
I
just
know.
because it would be a cool thing to look at.
And it was really cool, and it was still in good condition. So, Katrina, you have a chance to steal.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So I am going to say it's not the first one, the 7 Shakespearean something or others.
When the Boylston Library was renovating, we were cleaning out the attic because we had to empty the entire library, and there was some purple velvet cloth in the corner draped over something. And when I lifted it up, among lots of dust and other debris that had kind of settled on top of it, I found 7 engraved Shakespeare. I have pictures, I'll show you.
Wow.
Engraved Shakespeare, or they were Shakespeare engravings, so they were these very large depictions of different parts of Shakespeare plays, and the frames were that gold, very
Like
fancy.
that gold leaf.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Very fancy. We had them appraised, and we ended up selling them through the Skinner auction house.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
And you didn't incorporate any of that into the building.
it wasn't. There wasn't a lot of space in the Boylston Library to really hang them all, and we couldn't quite figure out how they would fit in otherwise. So we ended up selling them, and we put the money towards programming.
Towards programming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good use of
Yeah.
something like that. Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah.
So you did not find a full taxidermy.
I did not.
Deer.
We had taxidermied birds.
Maybe that's what I was remembering. So I was like, there's something connecting my brain with Jen and taxidermy.
Yes.
Well, the reason why I didn't go for the deer one, Katrina, you may remember this. Once upon a time when we used to have things delivered to the library because they were a gift for someone. And do you remember when Julie had the hunting deer delivered to the library for her son?
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
because she was...
That's
You know those
fantastic.
forms that you practiced? That was her gift to her son because he's a hunter. And so there was a live deer and not a big full-size
That is wild.
deer in a
How did she
box
fit
in
that
the
in her
library.
tiny car?
I have no idea. She was Julie. She did all those things, but yeah.
She could take the carpool lane on the highway.
Right? So that's why I didn't pick the deer. I was like, well, that's reasonable. We had one here for a couple hours.
See, this is enough years in the profession, and everything kind of sounds a little bit
Like,
reasonable.
I could see that.
And we did have, it was a very large, I'm trying to imagine, so our listeners won't be able to necessarily see, but if you look behind you on the wall here, there's a marker board, and we're in the conference room. So if you come into the library and you look on the wall and you're wondering how big it was about the size of the marker board of taxidermied birds. And it was
Wow.
about 30 different birds that were just set up on like a background with like some branches and things.
Wow.
And they used to use it as an educational tool for the children's department. It was actually in the children's room for a while, and then they had moved it to another room. And then when we renovated, we needed the wall space. So we actually donated it to I think it's the Audubon Society in Canton, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Now
That's
has it
really
hanging
nice.
in their event room.
Right.
Cool.
So it was really cool. It was more difficult to get rid of than you would think, because back in the early 1900s, they used arsenic to preserve things, so you really
right.
couldn't just get rid of it.
Wow.
So that was an interesting educational experience for me. was
Wow.
Learning about how things used to be taxidermied
Yay.
right around the time that the library had opened, which was like 1904.
Wow.
So yeah, that was interesting.
Fun.
All right, so nobody gets a point for that one.
Sad face.
So it's tied up 1-1.
Yeah, but I still have my question on this round.
That's
Yes.
true.
Are you ready? So this one is actually Extraordinary Things Found in the Library Book Drop.
Okay.
Did I find a $500 Amazon gift card, a VCR, or somebody's entire purse?
It's like, oh,
I'm going to say that you didn't find a $500 Amazon gift card.
I I did not find a $500 Amazon
Because
gift
the
card.
other two were so ridiculous that they
I
had
thought
to be
that
true.
Somebody accidentally threw their entire purse into the book drop when we were closed. So in Boylston, the library closed at 2:00 on Saturday and didn't open again until Tuesday morning. So the person, I think she was sort of rushing, and she threw her entire purse in and then wasn't quite sure how to get a hold of anybody. So her whole purse sat in the book drop until Tuesday morning.
Oh, no.
At least you knew it was safe.
Yes, it was. And it was totally safe, and it was intact, and it didn't get crushed under other things that had been returned on top of it. And I found a VCR with about 7 other VCRs.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you can see that.
Yeah.
The library definitely wants your outdated
No,
equipment. I'm
no, they
being
don't.
sarcastic, folks.
Please do not put VCRs in the
Please do not put anything but books in the book drop and media in the media drop. Please, please, please. Okay, what's the weirdest thing you've pulled out of the drop box? Excuse me, Katrina.
Oh, I have. That's a terrible question because I don't have to do it very often.
Right. So that hasn't happened to you?
No.
At a former library I worked at, there was a fish, a dead fish.
A fish.
A fish.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes. Well, the library was near a lake, and people went fishing, and it was probably a prank. Somebody thought it was fun. It's
that's
scary.
gross.
Worse than the mice do. But yes, that we can remind all our listeners that only books belong in the book
Yes.
drop.
Please and thank you.
Yes.
Yes, please and thank you.
I had a friend who used to stuff. So something you should know about me, if you're not already aware, I'm terrified of clowns. So I had a very good friend who used to love to put stuffed clowns or plastic clowns or just anything with clowns on it when I was unsuspecting. So they knew that I would get the book drop every morning and would just pile on the clowns.
Get the adrenaline going. I have a good book to suggest to you. I know that you're a fan of Stephen King, but how about it?
I have read it.
Hence the fear of clowns?
Ironically enough, because the clown is the bad guy, I feel like that's how clowns are supposed to be portrayed.
So you were validated.
It doesn't actually bother me.
That's fabulous.
It's clowns like in normal places
Mm-hmm.
that I would rather avoid. I did scream and turn and run out of a Harris Teeter in North Carolina once because a clown or somebody dressed as a clown walked around the corner and like sort of bumped into me. And I was not expecting a clown to be in the grocery store.
Right.
And I ran. Like as though it had come to life. In the
Pennywise is
produce
coming
aisle.
after you.
Wow.
So, Katrina, you are up 2-1.
Woo woo.
All right, and it's still your turn.
Yay.
Because
Wait.
now-
How does that happen?
Because now it's round 3.
Oh,
she goes
we're
first
in
again.
round 3. Okay.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay.
The pressure's on.
Libraries I've worked at.
Okay.
The Homer Babbage Library at Yukon.
Okay.
The Altoona Public Library in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Or the Cumberland County Library in North Carolina.
Rude.
Told you they got harder.
I'm going to say, shoot, I'm going to regret this. I'm going to say the Connecticut one you didn't work at.
That was my first library. The Homer Babbage
I knew
Library
you
at
had
Yukon.
somewhere weird in Pennsylvania though, right? No.
Well, I'm going to give Deb a chance
Oh,
to steal.
fine.
So we know that you came from North Carolina and that you worked there, but I don't actually recall the name of the library you worked with in North Carolina. And I'm not really sure about a Pennsylvania connection. So now I don't know what to do. So could you just refresh my memory, please, and tell me what the two choices left are?
The Altoona Public Library in Pennsylvania or the Cumberland County Library in North Carolina.
I don't think it's the right county.
Is that
I'm
your
not
final answer?
sure. I know you were near
Jen
a
is
military
smiling.
base. I know you were near a military base, but that's not helping me.
This is hard.
This is a hard one.
And I was on the hiring committee.
See, I was not. So I have to go with my gut after being with the trivia for so long. It's not that county in North Carolina.
It is that county.
Oh.
I lived in Fayetteville for 8 years, which is in Cumberland County.
Okay.
And I did work at the Cumberland County. I did live in Altoona,
Okay.
Pennsylvania for a few months, and I had applied there, but the library was very small and they didn't have any openings.
Okay.
So I did not.
Fine. That's why I recognized the name.
That one was a
So,
tricky
Katrina,
question.
I don't know. I think you were kind of leading me astray there.
I wasn't.
That's okay. That's okay. I can be a gracious loser, but do I still have a chance to
Yes,
catch up?
you do.
Okay,
Because
then.
it's your turn to go first.
So Fayetteville is in Cumberland County, North Carolina, folks.
Yes.
Remember that.
And the military base that you were thinking of is Fort Bragg, which is
Fort
in
Bragg.
Fayetteville, or right outside of Fayetteville. So you were on the right track. I think we both knew where I've lived, but yeah, that was a tricky one. So
That was good.
this one kind of along the same category, but I haven't lived in that many places. So other jobs that I've had outside of libraries. I have been a bartender, a house sitter, and a secretary.
Ooh. Ooh. This is hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have not been a secretary.
I have been a
You
secretary.
can't. How
in
long did that
college.
last? 2 weeks? I worked at the law office for 2 weeks. It was horrible.
Oh my god.
I was actually, I worked as the secretary to the dean of the sociology department at UConn for 2 years. As
Wow.
a student.
Really? For 2 years?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
great.
It was a lot of fun, actually. It was mostly like photocopying and organizing. I created a database for all the students that had the different majors. So it was a lot of like the organizing skills again.
Right. I definitely could see that.
Yeah.
And the bartender, because librarians, by the way, are bartenders in disguise. Not so much for the alcohol part, but those of you that have your favorite places and people to talk to and you, quote, belly up to the bar and tell your bartender anything, you can do the same with your librarian.
Truth. I was a
Me,
bartender for
and you
several
were-
years.
And
yeah.
you were a bartender, so
Yeah.
I never was.
Proof
But
is in the pudding.
librarians and bartenders will keep your secrets to
yes,
their
they
grave.
will.
So just so that you know that, folks, that your confidentiality is always kept here. Your privacy is very important to all of us. So when you talk to us, know that it stays just with that person that you spoke to. So
Agreed.
bartender, I knew you were before, but
Well, Katrina technically has a chance to
So
steal.
thank you for telling me.
it's so true, though. I mean, that was like easy. Like, if you put
It's
down,
got to be
like-
the middle one. What was the middle one? I can't remember.
Bartender. So the secretary was wrong.
Yeah.
Bartender or house sitter.
So you haven't been a house sitter then?
I have been a house sitter.
Darn it! I was gonna say bartender. You. Oh! I'm so mad.
cheated without even realizing. I don't know. Katrina, I did not know you were this competitive.
Oh, I
I'm
am.
so sorry.
Never play Monopoly with me because I will flip the table.
You will flip and you throw the robber in Catan. too?
Yes. No, I don't play Catan.
It's a good thing.
I don't think I've ever gotten through a game of Risk without it ending in some kind of separation of like, all right, we're gonna take a photo of the board because if you leave it, somebody will
Walk
cheat,
away.
and we're gonna walk away and cool down. But fun story, I actually was offered my first public library job in North Carolina on the same day that I was offered a bartending gig. So I was almost a bartender.
Cool.
So, and I
You were
almost took the bartender job because I felt like it would have paid a little bit more, but I knew what I wanted to do, and I was going to school.
This was the
and-
better career path.
Yes,
I think.
absolutely. Yes.
And mostly because it brought you to us too, which is fun.
Yeah.
Indeed, here.
And what you had said about chatting with people, I both of those jobs, that was the appeal for me, was the small talk aspect of it. So I figured I could get that in either place. And so I took the public library job, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Wonderful. Sorry, Katrina. So now what happens when Deborah messes up the game? How do we
It's
fix
just a
that?
plot. It's just a plot.
It
'cause Deborah
is
wants
a
to win.
ploy.
That's okay. There's still 2 more rounds.
Oh,
So,
let's do it.
And you're
Katrina's
still
still up.
ahead.
Yep.
So we're just not going to count that point. And if it's a tie, then you'll get it. How's that?
Please, no, it's fine.
So, round 4.
Okay, go.
Things I have dressed up as
This is for Deb.
on the job. Yes, Deb, you go first.
Things you have dressed up
Things
as.
I have dressed up
I
as.
like this
as part of
category.
my- And I will tell you, I have dressed up as so many things that I have one for each of you, and there were still
Yes.
many things left off of these lists.
Oh, that's amazing.
I have dressed up as a unicorn, Wonder Woman, and Miss Spider.
So Miss Spider is correct me if I'm wrong, Katrina, is that
Is that
from
the children's picture book?
Yep.
By Kirk?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's a reasonable costume, I would think.
Could be reasonable.
The unicorn, I don't know. It's such an easy costume, right? So, I don't know.
I can't even give you a hint. Like, I have no
don't even know what
idea.
to guess on this one because they're all so plausible. But I'm going to do Wonder Woman.
I have not been Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Ooh, she got it.
When I left Boylston, I dressed up as a unicorn, and I did the, is it the say anything with the messages written on the paper, and you just flipped them. So I showed up to say goodbye to my staff.
Oh,
Dressed up as a fully inflatable unicorn.
Yes. Where is that costume?
I still have it.
Actually, thinking children's program
Here we
coming
go.
up.
I am happy to reprise that role at any moment.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. It's on.
All right, so we did that one.
So if you see anybody in a unicorn costume in the library in the future, you know who's inside.
It might very well be Jen. Are you ready?
All right, let's do it.
Round 2.
Oh,
Things I've dressed up as.
okay.
Cyndi Lauper,
Oh, boy.
the pigeon
Okay.
from Mo Willems.
Yep.
And Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Oh, dear God. I don't know. Oh, okay. So it's Cyndi, the pigeon, or the big red dog.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to regret this, too. I'm going to say you haven't dressed up as Cyndi Lauper.
Halloween, one year. I dressed up as Cyndi Lauper. I had the 80s cocktail dress with the poofy sleeves. I had the orange hair. I had the crazy tights. I had all the jewelry.
Wow. See, I don't even really know who that is. So.
Girls just want to have fun.
Okay.
You would recognize the pop song.
Okay, cool.
Definitely.
I will spare everybody from saying it. You probably wouldn't recognize it if I sang it anyway. But yeah, we had 80s.
Amazing.
Day.
Okay.
So everybody dressed up as 80s pop stars. And unfortunately, on that same day, one of my staff members got rear-ended outside of the library. She was okay, but we brought her to the hospital to get checked out. So I dressed as Cyndi Lauper, and a good friend of mine dressed as Meatloaf. We're sitting in the emergency room waiting room, waiting for Dorothy.
You preface this with "unfortunately." I think that's great. Like, if I was sitting in an emergency room and saw that, that would make my day a lot better.
We were very clearly the only people dressed up. And somebody did ask my friend, and her name was Dorothy, if she was dressed up for Halloween. And she was dressed as Meatloaf and like very clearly dressed up as Meatloaf.
Right.
And somebody said, "Are you wearing a costume?" And she was like, "No, I don't celebrate Halloween." So you have a chance to steal the lead.
So my choices are
The pigeon.
the pigeon and Clifford the Big Red Dog. I
Clifford.
think you can rent Clifford the Big Red Dog. So that's kind of... Although the pigeon's kind of in now. I'm going to flip a coin and say you have not been the pigeon.
I have not been the pigeon.
Wow.
But you
Point
want to be the
stolen.
I would love to be the pigeon.
I have been the pigeon.
You have been the pigeon? You are lucky.
Yes.
I am jealous.
I was very fun.
I was Clifford, and I scared quite a few kids in the classroom that we went to visit. It was for a summer reading promotion. And not everybody loves giant mascots.
No.
I mean, it is a little jarring. I get it. I have that clown fear. So, unfortunately, that one did not end so well. But,
Aw.
yeah, but I was Miss Spider. That one went a little bit better.
Well, I think a
Cute.
lot of people have like that spider thing going on.
Yeah.
Katrina, but
Yeah.
Also me. Also me. We found
and also right.
Were you around when I found the spider in the bathroom a couple weeks ago?
No, I don't think.
I think I
No, I think you were very
was.
brave about the spider.
No, I ran, and I made somebody else do.
That wasn't the spider story.
It was.
What?
It was big. It jumped. Did you save me, Katrina?
Maybe
Somebody saved me.
I mean,
from
I know
that
I
one.
regularly bring spiders out of the building, so
Terrifying.
It's-
Absolutely terrifying.
it's a regular occurrence.
Katrina's
Now,
our savior.
that is not one of the things that Doc Talk will eat, right? He eats. Excuse me.
Dr. Taco would eat a spider if she were given the opportunity. We don't let her have any of the free range, if you will,
Insects,
bugs,
yeah.
because they could be carrying mites or parasites or other kind of icky things that would
Right.
get her sick. So
Right. But she loves her crickets.
she definitely does.
And the cockroaches, right?
And
that
the
true?
we
Oh,
recently
yeah, she's
tried her on dubia cockroaches, and she loved them. There are a species that comes from, somewhere in the Middle East, maybe, or maybe they're right from Australia. And they're small. They're not quite as gross as I thought they would be. And they don't jump, and they don't
Like the crickets do.
smell horrible, and they don't die as fast as the crickets. So, we're thinking of starting our own dubia colony roach in the colony in the library, folks.
Interesting.
grow some
They would be
roaches.
contained in their own colony.
They would, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty easy to set up. We would use her old tank or just like a plastic bin that you would find, to store your holiday ornaments or whatever in, and drill some holes in it for air, put some egg crate in it, and they're pretty self-sufficient. So,
Wow.
yeah.
And they're not like the typical cockroach that we all think of.
No,
here in America
they're
at all.
not. They're not at all. Yeah, I was definitely averse when Miss Carly brought this up. I was like, no, we're not doing cockroaches in the library. I'm sorry, no. And they're pretty cool. They're easier to handle than the crickets. So, and apparently crunchy and delicious and nutritious.
Right. And Doc Taco loves them, so I think that's a win-win all the way around.
Lizard approved.
I look forward to the podcast where you try them on the air.
That's going to be you, my friend.
Fear factor. We could do like a fear factor competition.
There we go.
here.
Minute to win it.
Eat all the
factor.
How many can you eat in a minute?
0. Okay. So it is 3-2. Deborah has taken the lead, and there is one round.
Sad
left.
face. Okay.
So
okay.
I believe the first question goes to
I think you're
Katrina.
right. Yeah.
So the last category is It's Alive in the Library. Speaking of cockroaches and bearded dragons.
Okay. Okay.
All right. This could also have been called Things I Have Chased Through the Library. Also known as Director's Life.
Yes.
Because there's not always somebody else to turn to when things happen. So you just have to sometimes chase live things and try to catch them. So I have chased a chipmunk, a baby raccoon, and a live bird.
Okay, I'm going to go with... Shoot. I'm terrible at this game.
This is a real hard one because all of those are possible.
All of them are completely possible. I have no idea, and I'm going to guess a chipmunk.
I have not chased a chipmunk.
Yes.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Uh-oh. Now it's a tie.
It's a tie. So
So I have the baby raccoon, honestly, I didn't really have to chase him much. He was just sort of
terrified.
there and terrified and just sort of shoot him out the door. The live bird was it was a very Alfred Hitchcock moment for me. I think it had gotten in through the attic window, and it was a baby, and it had flown down. It flew into a wall, is what my guess is.
Oh.
And it had landed on a ledge and knocked itself out.
Oh, no.
So I came in and I thought, like, oh, that must be not a live bird. So I got a broom and kind of went to just gently poke it down into a trash can, and it flew to life. It was definitely
gosh, that's terrifying.
just stunned, and it flew directly at my face. So I went from feeling terrible and like sort of crying about, there's a dead bird in the library, to like swinging the broom violently around and screaming at it as I chased it through the library. And then it ended up settling on top of our books up in the mezzanine. And I was not going to it, so I just went outside and I sent a text to my assistant director, and I said, there's a live bird in the library, I can't go inside. And she said, I'm not coming in. I'm terrified of live birds. She said it turns out she had a recurring nightmare about live birds in the library, or inside was
Right.
like a fear of hers.
Oh,
So
wow.
we ended up calling the facilities maintenance person, and he like just walked over and gently scooped the baby bird into his hand and was petting it, and it was very Snow White, and he walked out and released the bird very gently, and
Wow.
I could swear to you that bird was glaring at me from his hand the whole time.
Oh my.
So you have a chance to win here.
But now I feel terrible because I know it's
Don't worry
like,
about
it's like
it.
a bad win.
No, it's a legitimate win.
something-
I made a
something-
guess.
This is a really hard question, so you might earn it with this one. It's the same category, alive in the library, because there were more things. that were alive
There's
in the
always more things.
There's always more things. Did I find a litter of kittens in the parking lot, an invasion of frogs in the book drop, or a VHS tape case full of cockroaches? The gross kind, the scary kind.
I don't even want to guess the cockroach.
I know. I'm like
I'm already creeped out by
my
that.
stunned silence.
Because at least two of these are true.
Yeah, that's
Two of
that's
these are true.
horrible.
Okay, so we've got cockroaches in the book drop.
Mm-hmm. Or frogs in the book drop.
Frogs in the book drop.
Yep.
Cockroaches in a VCA.
VHS.
Yeah,
VHS.
tape.
Sorry,
Ooh.
I was thinking of the VCR player, but this is the VHS. And then what was the first one?
A litter of kittens.
A litter of kittens. Very plausible, that one. Well, since we had a book drop question, I'm going to say you did not find frogs in the book drop.
There were many, many frogs in the book drop. It was along the same lines you were saying. Somebody had done something as a prank. I believe that there were some local kids that had put 20 or so frogs in the book drop.
Oh,
So when
no.
you opened it up, they all
So
hopped out?
in North Carolina, everything got returned to a book drop that had like its own enclosed room inside the library,
Okay.
which I think a lot of libraries have moved away from because it's so easy to tamper with. And this person had just kept putting frogs, as many as they could find, right down into the book drop over a holiday weekend. So they were there just
being frogs.
Being frogs and hanging out, and there was like a big frog party inside the bookshop room. So I went to empty it, and of course on a holiday weekend, to keep the room from getting too full, you go in just
periodically,
and we do the same thing, and you bring everything in. So it was just me emptying the bookshop
and 100 frogs
and so many frogs, and I just kind of looked at the frogs. Shut the door. Just walked away. I'm not sure. So I'm sure somewhere out there my branch manager is telling a story of the weirdest phone call that she ever got, which was, hey, there's a bunch of frogs in the room. What do I do here? Katrina, you've got a chance to steal the game.
Oh, I'm going to lose. Okay. What are my options?
Kittens or cockroaches?
Oh, dear God. Okay. I have to go with you did not find kittens in the parking lot.
I did not find kittens
Yes!
in the parking lot.
Which makes it horrible because that means you found a VHS case full of cockroaches. Ew.
So we had the ones, you squeeze the heavy plastic case and you pull the tape out and then you check
This is going way back because we don't even circulate.
No.
We do not. This was, oh man, I think this was my first year in North Carolina. So I was probably, I was in my early 20s. And I opened, I pulled the tape out. And as I pulled the tape out, I don't know how many there were. They fell out and they scattered.
This is the South, folks. Yes. Cockroaches are very common. They're crickets.
There were about 15 tapes.
I don't like it.
Yes, we did not like it. And the girl that was working with me had done the same thing, kind of at the same time. So we had the same reaction for the same reasons. The cockroaches went everywhere.
Inside the library? Or
inside the library.
Oh my
We had to
gosh.
close for several days to fumigate. Because
Oh my God.
if you've never had a cockroach invasion, they're very difficult to get rid of.
Yes, I
This
can
only
specific
imagine.
type of cockroach. And there were so many. There were, like I said, there were 10 or 15 cases, and they all had cockroaches in them. So we
somebody
bagged
do this
them.
on purpose?
No, here's what I bet you happened. Someone had it in their basement, in their attic, in their crawl space, and went, oh, these belong to the library, and just returned them. And they were probably like,
no.
Very overdue. They were all
right.
exercise tapes, so you can imagine that somebody probably had a home gym in their basement or something and wasn't even aware necessarily
and the
that they were there.
cockroaches were like, wow, look at these condos.
My boss later found at least 3 or 4 of them inside of an extra pair of shoes that she had kept under her desk when she went to put her feet in them. We wrapped everything in a trash bag and then wrapped that bag in another trash bag. And the next morning when we came in, there were holes in the bag. And yes, it was bad. Katrina is making a face. It's a very horrifying
I've been making many faces over the course of this conversation. That
This is not where you
so
thought this was going to
cool.
go. is it?
disturbing.
So who knew that our interview with our library director was going to be the second part 2 of horror?
No kidding.
We should have done this in October.
Continuation.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So that was maybe the least fun. Yeah, probably the least fun shift I've ever had at a library. But yeah, those were. I couldn't think of entertaining normal stories, of course.
Well, this was great, and I think our listeners learned a little bit about you and a little bit more about the inner workings of libraries. And again, come in and stop by and introduce yourself to Jen.
And congratulate Katrina on her
Woo!
late game steal for the win.
Yes,
my
the late game
gosh.
steal.
I
And I
was
actually
not
feel better
expecting.
about that because I really
Deb, it's really okay.
I know. But, I always
That
wanted
was
to be
funny.
a fair fight.
That's fair. That's fair.
We'll have to play again sometime.
All right, so inquiring minds want to know, Miss Jen, what is the prize?
Ooh.
It's a $10 Dunkin' card.
Oh, yay! All right. I was expecting you to say, congratulations, you get to scrub the bathroom floor.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I'll buy coffee for myself. Don't quote me.
Oh, I see donuts since it's a gift card. I
There
see
we go.
donuts in that one.
Yum. Well,
You
thank
have
you.
You've won a lifetime of getting spiders out of the bathroom.
Well, I mean, I think I already had that.
Well, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. I learned so much more about you. And now anybody who comes in will be able to have a very easy, hey, I heard on the podcast that you cleaned up some cockroaches.
Tell me more about that.
Tell me more.
I have normal stories too.
Yes. Well, we know you're fearless, right? I mean,
Indeed.
Clowns.
Clowns and spiders.
except clowns, yes.
Oh, well, I mean, that just gives me fodder to continue our back and forth of pranking each other.
You know I have access to your car.
Yes,
I can
I
get
know. I'm aware. I did find a doll hiding in the back seat of my car one day when I pulled away. I did laugh though. I didn't scream.
Disappointing.
Sorry.
Katrina, you have a thing about dolls?
I don't have a thing about dolls.
You
Just
don't.
these dolls are hecka
These
weird.
particular dolls. Because I have a thing about dolls. I don't like dolls. Dolls are like,
See.
they are as terrifying to me as clowns are to you.
So I would never hide a doll in your office if you were, if you're actually like
You did
really
give me
afraid
a
of something.
great photograph, though,
Did.
by way of Kate, which was fabulous. But yeah, we do prank each other a lot here in the library, I guess.
We have fun. We have fun. Oh, all right.
So are we wrapping up now for this episode?
Yeah, I think we're good.
So we are coming into December and a lot of programming slows down. I don't think there's anything going on from the adults live programming, but still watch our Facebook page, watch the emails that we send out because we might have some interesting webinars that you can join in. We're still trying to pull a few of those things together, but you will receive, if you sign up for our library newsletters, there's information in the library newsletter and about some maybe upcoming sort of Zoom programs that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look for that.
Yeah, Children's is bringing back cookie decorating, but we're doing it differently this year. It's going to be a cookie hunt in the library. You're going to search for gingerbread cookies around the children's room, and then when you find them all as your prize, you get a take-home, make your own decorating cookie kit.
That's
so a
exciting.
different way to do cookie decorating that's a little safer and doesn't give kids the opportunity to lick the frosting while they're in the library. The other thing we're doing over break week is family style Minute to Win It. So we're inviting families to come in, compete for a prize. It's going to be a nice, easy, fun break week program. And of course, our New Year's Eve party with our big balloon drop is
New
coming
Year's
back.
Eve.
Yes,
So
I'm very
folks
excited.
with families with small children, I don't know, if you haven't had an opportunity to participate in New Year's Eve, I say this is the year, just do it.
It's so cute.
It's so fun.
All right, and that's it for Children's through December, other than all of our regular programming.
Yep. And then just look for more exciting things in the new year.
Here we go.